What's good, world? It's your boy JaKar. Thank you guys for watching, because today I'm finally ranking Frank Ocean. I'm gonna start off by ranking my 20 favorite songs, and then I'm gonna rank his 4 major projects. So if you guys wanna be the first ones to watch my videos, then click that link below and tap into the Patreon. I did Channel Orange and Blonde on YouTube, and for Patreon exclusive, I did Nostalgia Ultra. So for my 20th favorite song from Frank Ocean, we have Self Control. It really speaks to me. It's beautiful, really takes its time, but I feel like maybe the end is where the ambiance is so beautiful, but it doesn't pass many of my other songs from him. 19 is off of Endless, which is Higgs. So beautiful. It's my favorite off of Endless. And I know that a lot of people will probably be like, what? Like, how is it not At Your Best by Aaliyah? But if I'm gonna rate a cover so high, I should love it more than the original so much more. You know what I'm saying? That's just how covers should work. Or they both are legendary level. But I feel like Frank Ocean's cover of At Your Best doesn't hit me like Aaliyah's does in any way. So it's just not up there for Endless. Just had to say that. But Higgs, the power behind it, the poetry really stuck out to me. And it just carried its way all the way through for Higgs. At number 18, we have Chanel. And this is just a dope single. I remember growing up listening to having it playing nonstop. And this is when we all kind of thought that there was going to be more projects dropping, which sadly is not the case. As time went on, though, the replay value for me hasn't really stuck as much. But anytime that it does play, anytime that I see it and I just click it on, then I definitely have a good time with it. And next up, we have the outro for Channel Orange, Forrest Gump. Of course, it's so clever with Forrest Gump. You run my mind and run, Forrest, run. So super, super clever and super bold at this time for Frank Ocean to put out a song like that and put out music that like he did to close out what a legendary album, Channel Orange. And I can't wait to get that vinyl actually. Then we have what could be one of my wedding songs one day, Godspeed. Romantic, vulnerable, powerful, Godspeed, glory. I'll be honest though, that second half just doesn't do it for me, where I feel like he could have carried it so much further for us within this song. It just really stopped so early, and I wish we could hear his vocals more like that, you know, letting it all out. I feel like for someone that could sing their ass off like Frank, the effects, the nonstop effects of so much really bothers me, because I know that you can sing, bro, so you don't need to be doing it. And then I hear Godspeed and it's like, all right, give me more of that, give me more of that, and then it's really just like a minute and a half of it. So right after, I got White Ferrari, which surprisingly was my favorite off of Blonde when it first came out. It was a song that I laid up in bed with, and I think it's towards the end where he's singing and belting. It's like magic, and I'm just laying in bed and I'm just like, oh my God. And he's like, in this life, it's just so beautiful. And so beautiful, it's a masterpiece. And I'm just like, oh my God, Frank just changes, it just hits your soul and speaks to you. The replay value of the build-up doesn't really hit me. Like, I have to be in that mood to let it play, I guess you could say. And that's actually funny, because I know a lot of people are going to be commenting like, yo, what? This is tough criticism for Frank. Like, you're tripping, bro. You're tripping. But this is just my opinion. Everybody got their own opinion. Definitely comment below what is your favorite songs from Frank Ocean and rank them. Top 10, top 20, whatever you want to do. Next up, we have one of my favorite hooks that Frank Ocean ever did. And I actually put it in the intro of my Channel Orange video. And it's Sierra Leone. Such a beautiful song. We spending too much time alone. Baby girl, if you knew what I know, whoa, whoa. It's like, whoa. When he starts to do that, wow, I'm like, oh my God, Frank Ocean, man. We need more music. We need more music. So, yeah. Next up, we got Biking, the solo version, because it's actually wild that I love the solo version way more. Jay-Z, I love Jay-Z, but he just doesn't start off right to me, and Tyler does a great verse at the end, but nah, I just like the solo for Frank Ocean on this part, and Biking is cold. I love it, and especially at the end, we just going crazy. Got it. I'm like, yo, what is he? I don't even know what he's saying, but I know that it makes me move my body. I love that Frank knows how to use either objects or experiences, you know, like we'll be getting to pyramids, with the pyramid being a club and Cleopatra being a dancer, you know, just using different relatable experiences that we all have in different objects and different people to speak to his music, you know, and get that across on how he feels about certain things. Just really always always is one of my favorite things about Frank Ocean when it comes to his lyricism or his poetry. And my next favorite is There Will Be Tears off of Nostalgia. The only reason why it's not higher is because it's actually Mr. Hudson's song, and I feel like both are fire. Like, I feel like I could listen to Mr. Hudson's and it's just as good in my opinion. That's why, but the whole concept of the song is phenomenal and beautiful. I love the build-up. I love the robotic sound, even though like I criticize Frank Ocean's effects sometimes. I love that auto-tune to start off the song and just carries it all the way through. There Would Be Tears. There Would Be Tears is a song that I listen to almost the most out of Frank Ocean's entire discography when it comes to just going on YouTube and looking up Frank Ocean, There Will Be Tears, and I let that play. For my 11th favorite song, we have off of Blonde, Pink Plus White. What a beautiful song. This could possibly be higher, but he has some amazing songs that I love just a little bit more coming up. But the hidden feature of Beyonce with this angelic singing parts and just the beat that comes in, even the beginning, every time you hear that, it's really a flawless song if you really think about it with Pink Plus White. But you know what, for me, it's so beautiful and everything, but I feel like the other songs kind of speak to me more. Songs that I just feel like certain parts in the song I want to replay more, and that's really only why, because this song is amazing. I wouldn't be shocked if you have Pink Plus White in your top 5. Surprisingly, at number 10 is Thinking About You. Thinking About You SNL performance might be in my top 5. Who knows? It could, yeah, I think it will be in my top 5 actually. And it's one of my favorite SNL performances of all time for Frank Ocean, because at the second half, then he really sings, "Oh, do you not think so far ahead?" Like, he's carrying it from his chest so much more, and you could just hear the emotions. You could hear that this was so vulnerable for all of us. Like, that performance is one of the only performances you could really watch from Frank Ocean that's clear like that. It's 1000% one of the greatest R&B songs ever made in my generation, for sure. But once again, I just feel like there's other songs that speak to me more. At number 9, we have Swim Good. Thinking About You, Swim Good, and the next song that's about to come after are all very similar on how I feel about them. They're super nostalgic. Right when I think about them, I think about, wow, this is Frank Ocean. This is who I'm so grateful to have been able to hear this legend and being able to be a part of this timeline where I was right there when it dropped. I'm not listening to it later like some of these projects that I listen to. I was right there when it dropped. And so that's kind of how amazing actually it is for me to experience that. And so, let me just skip to that. Number 8 is Novocaine. So yeah, but all of them are so similar in that perspective where I'm always going to move my body. I'm always going to sing to it. But each of them don't hit me on a personal level on the story of like, but I love the lyricism a lot of Swim Good. Just drown in the ocean. I'm trying to swim from something that's bigger than me. Novocaine, I want you. Ooh, but Thinking About You, do you think about me still? Or do you think so far ahead? Because I've been thinking about forever. So maybe think about me. Maybe that's number 8. But man, this just shows how great Frank Ocean can be when he just drops music. He pretty fucking amazing. That's why I'm even talking about him. That's why he has so many diehard fans. And actually the next 3 songs are kind of the tier above the 3 that I just spoke on for me, for similar reasons, but, well, let me just say them, right? So we could all understand. Number 7 is going to be Crack Rock. Number 6 is going to be Lost. And number 5 is going to be Sweet Life. The reason why these 3 songs are so special to me is because I feel like all 3 of them are underneath that umbrella of popular Frank Ocean songs, right? So these are more so, they're not underrated because we only have a handful of songs to really listen to from Frank Ocean. But what they are, they're not the biggest song, right, on the albums or whatever, but we fucking love them. We love them. And they're very similar in 3 different ways because you can dance, move your body. And I said it in my Channel Orange reaction where I'm like, damn, I wish that we could have an NPR performance. I wish that we could have that acoustic version. I wish we could have performances in concerts from Frank Ocean to these legendary songs where the drummer's going crazy, the bass is going crazy, the guitar is going crazy. Everybody, the piano, everybody's going nuts and jamming out together. But we don't have that. We don't get to have that. And I might even watch the one on YouTube because I think there's one, like a rare performance on YouTube. But Crack Rock, I love the ending of Crack Rock and I love the story. Very, very deep stories. I think he was talking about family within the story as well. And he's given different experiences in his own poetic picture that he always gets to do, using things as metaphors or just true realism of art. Next is Lost, where we're feeling the same feelings. We're still moving our body. The imagery within Lost, where you're thinking of all these different places that he's naming and talking about, and you're just like, oh man, I want to travel. I want to see the world. I want to get lost. I really do. And I want to get lost in the feeling. I want to get lost in life. I want to get lost within being free and, just experiencing those type of things. So I love Lost though. It just makes, I love Lost. The drum, the snares, phenomenal. And Sweet Life. Sweet Life I love more than them because of what he's talking about. The sweet life. And he's talking about in a perspective of someone that's been privileged. But I look at it in a perspective of me being a father, and I'm talking to my son, and I'm telling my son, or I'm telling my daughter about the sweet life that they're given. And of course we're gonna, you don't want to just spoil them to the point where they're spoiled brats and not respectful or whatever. You want to teach everything, but this is the life that I want to give. You know what I'm saying? You have protection, you have the private chef and the housekeeping sometimes, and these type of things. That's the sweet life to a whole nother level. And I just love the buildup of it. I love the buildup. I love the ending. Everything about Sweet Life is phenomenal. Everything about Lost and Crack Rock are all 10 out of 10 songs to me, or you can say 9.5 if we're going to keep going. And next up, my favorite song off of Nostalgia Ulta is We All Try. This possibly could be my favorite song, but I hate that it's not on any platforms. It's just on YouTube, so I don't even get to experience it on that type of top tier level where I could just press play and let it play nonstop. Well, I guess on YouTube you can, but you guys know what I'm talking about with that streaming shit. You guys already know. But We All Try is not just one of his greatest singing performances, but it's, to me, one of his greatest purpose-driven songs, believing songs, right? Believe in something. You gotta believe in something. And he's talking about the things that he's still believing in. Look at what someone commented: sucks we can't listen on Apple Music, but I'll always go out of my way to listen to this song. Frank is top 2 and he need to protect this man and his music at all costs. I don't know. I think that might be in my top 3 now. I just re-listened to it a little bit. God damn. Somebody said it. It is so true. His voice is so pure, beautiful. Then on top of that, he's speaking to our souls and speaking to people and just saying, yo, you got to believe in something. I know someone that's believing in Jehovah, believing in faith. A woman's body is a temple. I'm believing that marriage is between love and love. But you got to believe in something. We All Try is a song that anytime I play it, it does something to me. Every single time. Wow. And now we're in the top 3. Hit subscribe. With my third favorite song from Frank Ocean, we have the greatest 9-minute song ever made, Pyramids. And my gosh, I was just listening to this today while driving, and 2 different songs, and both are 10 out of 10 to me. I love both of them. The techno sound comes in out of nowhere when you're listening to the beginning of Pyramids, and you're just like, yo, where is he going to take this on? And how did he even think of making this song? His producers, him, whoever. Phenomenal, amazing song. And, then we go into she's working at the pyramids tonight, and it's just going. The story that we're going along with him with Cleopatra and going into the pyramids. So many people have that as their favorite song ever, and I really, really do love it. I feel like it's so great that it doesn't even feel like 9 minutes when it's going. Damn, that's special. Yeah. For my top 2, this was the hardest decision. But yeah, number 2 is my favorite song off of Blonde, Ivy. Ivy, Ivy, Ivy. I thought that I was dreaming when you said you love me. This song has 2 different reasons for me now and 2 different feelings for me now. The first feeling was very sad because I had a lot of sad dreams, nightmares, lonely moments where I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel honorable. I didn't feel like a good man. I didn't feel like I could find myself again or could find something or find love again in that type of way. And bad feelings, but beautiful memories in the same way. But when I hear it now, it does something different to me where it's like, it's more so a blissful feeling. I feel like I thought that I was dreaming when you said you love me. It's like me waking up to this beautiful woman and I'm like, wow, I thought that I was dreaming, but no, I'm awake. I'm awake now and you said you love me. It's more of a peaceful, beautiful, empowering feeling and just knowing where I am today, who I am today from the past. It does a lot for me. And I love the Kanye Yeezus inspired ending. It does a lot for me. So Ivy is one of my favorite, of course, my second favorite now, as you know, Frank Ocean song. And let's close it out. Let's close out my top 20 with my favorite Frank Ocean song, which is featuring Andre 3000, my favorite Channel Orange song, Pink Matter. Not only does Andre 3000 have one of the greatest features of all time, my God. Of course, Andre's crazy. I can't wait to do Outkast on my channel with you guys. But the first half is some of Frank's greatest singing. The poetry of Pink Matter, Pink, Majin Buu, Pink, a lot of sexual references. It's a whole entire thing of sexual references, just making love and mind over matter, right? Watching him paint this canvas once again of this pink matter, of everything pink, and he's just talking about some, oh my God, just beauty with the soft build up as it's building up. And this actually encompasses everything that Frank Ocean, like for me, my favorite parts of Frank Ocean, where you can hear stuff that you never would hear before from a lyrical standpoint, but also a sound standpoint. And then you have a phenomenal singer on top of it. Then the beat drops, and then, you know, the guitar and everything just starts to go to a whole nother level. Since you've been gone, I've been having withdrawals. You were such an answer to call. Then Andre comes in. Mr. 3000. It's a rarity because Frank doesn't put out that much. Frank doesn't put out music. And Andre 3000 doesn't rap no more. So it's such a rare song for me that we got to have this moment between them two. That's fucking insane. It's like right now, out of nowhere, watching Allen Iverson and Derrick Rose winning a championship for some odd reason. You know what I'm saying? Somehow that happened. Like, no fucking way. That moment is this song for me. Those feelings and everything. And I remember growing up listening to Frank Ocean when he first came out. I listened to everything. And then Pink Matter was on replay nonstop at my first summer job as a junior in high school. It always brings me back to those memories of being a kid, just wanting to be great, wanting to be somebody, wanting love, having music as that friend, having music as that escape, and out of that reality that I didn't want to be in, and also having music being the coping mechanisms that I didn't know that I was coping from. I was using that to cope with a lot growing up, and having that hug. I'm not crazy, I'm not alone, I'm not weird. This art is speaking to me, and this art is doing a lot for me that I didn't know. So thank you, Frank Ocean, for that. That's my top 20 songs. So definitely comment below what's yours. Man, that was dope. That was cool to actually know that. And this is going to be easy. This is quick, sadly. I know he has some hidden mixtapes. I'll listen to them on my own time, you guys. But I'll be honest, it really hurts that he doesn't have that much music dropped. I really wanted to do these rankings for albums only, because it's not fair for like some of the hip hop artists who have mad mixtapes, you know, like some of the mixtapes are better than the albums, but I'm not going to include them. But for Frank, I did that. For him, I'm including the mixtapes because he doesn't have that much to rank from. So to be honest, my least favorite album out of his 4 projects, my least favorite project is Endless. I don't like Endless at all. I know a lot of people say it's really, really beautiful. Maybe it's beautiful. I tried it many times, so maybe it is beautiful when you just lay in bed and just let the soundscapes hit you and you embrace all the elements. But I'll be honest, just the elements are my least favorite from Frank. Like, I love his voice. Clearly you could hear my favorite, you could literally see my favorite songs and you'll know I love his voice. You know I love the type of vibe that is my favorite from him. Of course, there's a couple songs that he sounds very beautiful, but it's just not enough to make me actually think that it's as special as a lot of people want to say that it is to me. And that's gonna be my opinion. I'm down to go. I'm soon probably gonna go on TikTok, or I'm soon gonna do some other hot takes. And it's like, yo, I feel like Endless. And honestly, when we look at Frank Ocean's entire discography, it might be, I don't want to say overrated, because it's not overrated, because he has such legendary, amazing songs. But for the amount of people, he headlined Coachella, and that was a huge letdown. Don't let anybody tell you that was a huge letdown. For that amount, you would think that he had like classics upon classics, you know what I'm saying? And he had all these songs that you could go through. You can literally go through Frank Ocean's great songs, or like, very fast. Like, look, I just gave you guys my top 20, and like the first half, I told you guys that I love the second half of the songs, or I love this part of the song. I don't love the entire song. And that's my problem with with a lot of his music, is I'm skimming through to find the part that I love, not the entirety of the song. That's different for the top 10 though. That's different. Same with Blonde. Blonde is my third favorite. I'll say this. I believe Blonde is one of the most overrated albums of my generation. I said it in my video before, and I listened to it again for you guys. I feel like the highs are high. They're dope. But the lows are low. And we don't talk about the lows enough of Blonde. Probably because I don't like Nikes at all. Since I don't like Nikes, that's the start, and I don't like the last song. How could I really love an album that much if I'm skipping the first song, going into Ivy, Pink plus White, and now I'm skimming through, and also the stories, the deep stories, the woke stories, ain't that deep to me. They don't make a lot of sense to me. The Facebook story. Why don't you want to follow me on Facebook? She thought I was cheating. Like, just follow your girl. You following everybody else, just follow your girl. End of story. But I understand. It's a great concept. It's a great talking point. And so I don't want to bash that at all. But I feel like Blonde, I feel like a lot of the elements I'm skipping to hear one part of that song. And I'm like, oh, I'm listening to 20 seconds of it. I'm like, oh, that was beautiful. And it goes to something else completely after. I'm like, oh my God, why? And you can hear it in the video. I'm like, why are we changing this part? It was beautiful. Why don't we keep it going? But no, just like the song Solo. There's parts of it that are phenomenal to me, but parts of it that I hate, that I don't like. And I'm like, damn, I wish that wasn't the case. Blonde isn't for me. It may be for you, maybe for your timeline, maybe for your love life. I don't really know how that album really got so many people's like love life, I guess you could say, but that's neither here nor there. And then my second favorite project would be Nostalgia Ulta. Well, that album's a mixtape, and that mixtape isn't the greatest thing ever. It has great moments, way more great moments to me than Blonde, but it's still the beginning stages of Frank Ocean. You know what I'm saying? That's his mixtape. Like, that was his first project. It's not gonna have the greatest of carrying out this mastered artist, but I don't feel, that's why I feel robbed as a Frank Ocean fan, is because I never got, and hopefully we get to, but never got that prime. You know, that's why I compare him to Derrick Rose, where he gets the MVP, and the MVP to me is Channel Orange. Right? He comes back from the injury and he's playing some more. He has that game-winning jump shot against the Cavs. That's Blonde to me. They didn't beat the Cavs. He got the game-winning jump shot though. That's legendary. And he's getting held up and he just has that face of like, yo, I'm him, because he's Derrick fucking Rose. He's Frank Ocean. Blonde didn't hit me because they lost, and sadly he wasn't able to play, and that's different because but of course, people say that Frank Ocean, his brother passing away, really hurt him when it comes to making music. He doesn't want to continue making music. You're choosing to do whatever you want. He's gonna choose that, right? But we weren't able to hear where he finally put all the pieces together that he's learned over all the time of creating and loving and learning and experiencing and all this type of stuff, and then being able to put it out there. And so that's why I'm like, damn, feeling robbed, feeling unfulfilled for his discography. Feels like there's a void of his discography. And that's similar to Andre 3000, where we're all like, we are all like, damn, we don't have that solo album of him. So that's my biggest thing, where I feel like Nostalgia Ulta is great. It is a solid mixtape. It's a good mixtape. But for that to be my second favorite from your entire discography is a good mixtape, that says something. And yes, Channel Orange is one of the greatest albums of my generation. It's my favorite Frank Ocean project. But even then, I said it in the video where I said there's still some moments where I'm like, but I still give it a 9 out of 10 maybe, right? 9 out of 10, 9.5, or yeah, I'll say a 9 out of 10. That album is beautiful. It might be a 9.5, but that's neither here nor there. That's such a great album. But man, wish we could have more to judge off of and base off of. I wish that he just had more music. Then I've heard every song. So if you comment below, did you hear this song? The only songs I didn't hear was off of, I guess, the hidden mixtape on one of a YouTube thing. I didn't click on that yet. Damn, man. For such a beautiful voice, such an amazing voice, and to have so much to talk about, because he could create, the poetry is insane. Wish there was more. So very unfulfilled. I think that's what I'll say. Not overrated, but just an unfulfilled discography. And with that being said, it's your boy JaKar. Up next, if you guys are future fans, up next I will be doing Wolf by Tyler, the Creator, or it's probably already up there if you're watching this later. And I'll be doing Ranking Tyler, the Creator up next. So let me know how you guys feel below. It's your boy JaKar, and I'll talk to you. Peace out.